All right. Yeah, let's talk about Git. So does anybody know the difference between Git and GitHub?
I do, but it's not appropriate.
Okay, yeah, then don't say it if it's not appropriate. From like a technical perspective, between Git and GitHub, does anybody know?
Isn't GitHub is what like provides the service towards Git, but Git is what holds your like version of code that you submit. It's almost like the repository.
Yep. So yeah, like Git is software that's on your local machine. GitHub is literally just an application that stores your code where you can save your code at, saves different version of your code. It's like, yeah, GitHub is literally just an online application where we can store your code. It stores your branches and different aspects behind your code. It allows you to collaborate with teams and see the differences in different code, in different branches, different commits. So it saves. It's just literally an application that just saves where your code is saved at, and it's all online. Where Git is literally just software that's on your local machine that enables you to have different repositories, and different save points within those repositories. So what is Git? So specifically, it's a version control system. It tracks the different versions of your code. So it tracks file changes, who's responsible for each file change or the changes made. So you can actually see like, oh, like Tom did this, Ankur did that. You can back up and restore work. So if you totally mess up something on a specific commit, you can like revert back to different changes or to different save points. So you can undo mistakes. It allows for easier collaboration, and it gives freedom to add new features. So if you think about this, if you're in a group project and you're all working on a paper, but you're all working on the same paper, and you're responsible for different portions, different sections of that paper or essay. In before like Google Sheets and all of that, where people can collaborate in real time, you'd like have a Word document, you'd save your part, somebody would save their part on a separate Word document, and then you'd have to have all these different Word documents, and you'd have to somehow merge them together and all of that. So it's not like when that process isn't that efficient or that collaborative friendly for collaboration. So that's what Git allows you to do. It's essentially like working on a single Word document, and everyone's working on that same Word document, or their separate Word documents are like merged in. You can like merge in your section into your Word document as long as it doesn't overwrite someone else's section. So yeah, that's kind of one analogy of it. Does anybody have any questions on Git or GitHub? Yeah, like it's GitHub, there's GitLab, there's a bunch of different software, a bunch of different applications that are very similar to GitHub. There's Azure DevOps, Azure has their own like GitHub type application. There's GitLab. There's a bunch of them. But GitHub is the most famous or the most popular right now. So have any questions on Git or GitHub?
Sorry, but besides GitHub, which we're utilizing, should we also have a separate program installed in addition to that?
Nope. Oh, okay. So like GitHub is not installed on your like GitHub is just literally a website application that you in the browser. Git is actual software that's on your local machine, and we installed that yesterday. There was already a version installed, but we updated it. Yeah. So let's kind of talk about like the process of utilizing Git utilizing Git when you're collaborating. So typically we've been working on like the master branch. That's what you've seen me be. That's what you saw me doing in like 99 bottles. This was all on the master branch. But in actual production, when you go work at a company and when you collaborate with a team, which you will be doing in this cohort, it's really good practice to do branches. So say you have your production code base on the master branch or the main branch now. Going forward, they're renaming all the master branches to main branch. So you're on your main branch, this green branch, and you're building out an application such as maybe it's like a new like a Salesforce competitor. So you're developing a customer relationship management tool, and you have to create a new form, like a sign up form for new users to sign up. And on that form, there's like a select dropdown that you need to create. So like for like a date or a calendar. So what you do, and you'd create a branch, you'd create a separate branch for your feature that you're creating, such as a select dropdown. And so this command get checkout -branch followed by whatever your branch, whatever you name your branch, such as like Tom / select dropdown feature or something like that. So you'd be working on your own branch. So it's literally a copy of the main code right here, but you'd be developing your feature branch, your own code right here. And then these are like separate save points or just different. Don't worry about what these dots are. But say as you're working on your feature, such as that select dropdown in the form, in the sign up form, there's a bug in the main code base. So someone reported a bug in the main code base, and someone else creates a separate branch to fix that bug. So they create a separate branch such as get checkout -b bug fix branch. And as they're working on that bug fix, you complete your work and you merge it into the master branch. And so the master branch is deployed to production. And now your little feature, your like little select drop down in the input form is live and people are using it. And now this person fixes their bug. However, when they merge it into the master branch, they're not working on the most up-to-date version because they have this version. But now when you merged yours in, this is the new updated version right here. So when they go to merge theirs in, they're merging it into the new updated version that has your feature on it. Now, typically that's not a problem. So if this bug had nothing to do with the code in this bug that this person is working on, had nothing to do with this code that you're working on, if that code never touched, this person would be able to merge directly into the master branch. There aren't any conflicts or anything. However, if this person was working on a bug that was related to whatever you were working on, there might be a merge conflict there. And if that is the case, you would have to literally go with it. Like when you try to merge into code bases that have a code or a merge conflict in VS Code, it'll say like, hey, there's a conflict here. What do you want us to do about it? What code do you want to keep? What code do you want to like get rid of? And if that's the case, you and that like this developer that did this branch and this bug would have to get together and be like, hey, what code should we keep and get rid of? So that's called a merge conflict. And you'll have like a challenge, I think it's this week, that covers merge conflicts. Any questions on kind of like this visualization? All right. So you all should have seen me done this a couple of times already. So in your working directory, so that what you're working on your local machine, any files that are saved locally but have not are saved to Git yet. So you're just working on and you're like you're just doing command save or file save, and you're just saving your file. That's the working directory that you're currently in. When you're ready to put that into a specific GitHub repository or add it to create a save point in Git, you'd run git add space dash period. Now the dash period adds all the changed files in your repo to the GitHub staging area. So this git add period just adds files to what is like kind of like a staging area. It's not saved yet, but it's like, hey, these are about to get saved. So files that you have selected to be saved to Git. So that's what this command does, this git add period. Files that have been selected to save to Git. And then once you actually want to save it, you run git commit -m and then like some message that you want to, that is related to what you're saving. So this actually saves your code to the Git repository. So it's a stored snapshot of code in your Git repository. It's a save point. I'll say this about your your save messages or your commit messages. They should be related to what you're actually saving. So back here, as I'm creating a form for select dropdown, one of my save points may have been like imported some JavaScript library for the select dropdown. And you should commit often. So you shouldn't just commit at the very end of when you're actually done with your project. Just like you would when you're working on like an essay during like finals week or something, and you like want to make sure you don't lose it, you like save it a lot of times, just in case like your computer shuts off or your computer crashes and you lose hours upon hours of work. So commit often.
Well, this is different though than saving something in Word, right? Because it's going to keep every version that we put up there in case we need to back up.
Right. Yeah. Yep. So yeah, that's where it'd be a little different. But just like, I just want to get you all familiar or like used to making commits a lot, like often. Continue to like every, when you make some progress, make a save to your GitHub repository, just in case you lose all your work or something happens or something breaks. Again, commit messages, make sure are somewhat descriptive. So don't make your commit messages completely unrelated to what you're actually committing. So commit logs from last night. So these are all like actual commit messages that people would push to their code. Added full project, code is still shit though. Like, okay, that's not really helpful in determining what fixing project like stuff. Like that's not like fixing bugs. That's not really informative of a commit message. So here are some Git commands and we'll kind of walk through these. So git init initializes a new Git repository. You haven't been doing that probably lately because when you're cloning down to your local machine, like 99 Bottles and Def Grandma, they already have a Git repository attached to that project. So you don't have to reinitialize a new GitHub repository or Git repository, sorry. Git Checkout, branch name, creates a branch of code separate from the branch you were originally on. So you can technically create a branch off of like a main branch and then keep making branches off of branches off of branches. You can keep doing that. Git status checks the status of Git. Git add adds all changes adds all changed files to the staging area. Git commit, you'll hear that term. Hey, did you commit that? That's like a saying. That's like common language. So, hey, did you commit that like code yet? So commits adds new code to the Git repository, creates like a save point. Git checkout checks out a new branch. So if there's already an existing branch, you can check out that branch. And Git merge can merge a specific branch into the branch you're currently on. And git pull will pull any existing code from like the main whatever branch down to your local machine. So any new code that was been committed that you don't have currently on your local machine, you can git pull and it'll pull all the new code on your local machine. So let's kind of walk through this. Do I have that open? Yeah, right here. So I'm just gonna create a new directory. So I'm gonna clear down here. I'm gonna zoom in. There we go. So how do I make a new directory?
You type in mkdir and then space and then whatever you want your directory to be named.
Awesome. Yep. So make directory. I'm going to call it Git practice. And you'll see over here, I got that Git practice created. Now I'm going to CD. So change directory into Git practice. So I was originally in Oscar challenges. Now I'm in Oscar challenges Git practice directory. Now I'm going to create a new file, a new JavaScript file called test git.js. So the keyword touch followed by whatever file name, and you can create multiple file names here like test git.py. You can like just keep on creating file names like so. So I'm going to do that. And here I've got my test git. So right now, I do not have an existing repository on this Git practice directory. So I'm just going to create I'm going to add something, console log, hello, Oscar Platoon. So I created some code, and now I need to actually initialize this Git practice with a new Git repository. So if I come over here, Git init will initialize a new Git repository in whatever folder, whatever directory I'm currently in. So I can list everything out. I've got test git.js. Now I can do git init. Hint, using master as the name for initial branch. The default branch is subject to change. What just happened? Line empty Git repository. All right. Okay, so I can rename the branch Git branch. Is that how to change it? Anyway. All right, so I initialize a new Git repository. Now I want to add this code. Oh, I spelled that wrong. Add this new code to the Git repository. So notice how it doesn't have what branch I'm currently on. It's because I haven't actually created a save point yet. So if I wanted to add everything, I can do git add period or add just the file. So I added that to the staging area because that git add adds it to the staging area, files that have been selected to save to Git. So I'm just going to check the status of Git by running git status. So on master branch, no commits yet, changes to be committed, new file, test Git. So I'm going to clear that. And now I'm going to actually create a save point and watch what happens. Watch what you see after the Git practice, what shows up there. So git commit -m. Since this is a first commit, I'm just going to call it initial commit. All right. And now notice, so I created a new save point. Now it says I'm on the master branch. What questions do you have about that?
So if it doesn't specify what branch you are, do you have to git, or do you have to give the command git init to go to that repository?
So if it doesn't have this next to it, it's either a Brandly, it more likely than not does not have a Git repo attached to that directory. So you'd have to create a new Git directory or create a new Git repo.
Okay, thanks, Tom.
I've got a question, just visualizing this. How is it saved? Like, would we be able to go into Finder and see how Git is saved within our local system?
I don't think so, but if I do git log, you can see all the commits that were made and you can revert back to different commits.
Okay, but that's within the current file that you're in.
Yeah. So if I list everything out in my current directory, I just see this test git. But if I do ls, I think, is it -l? No.
A?
Dash A is going to give you the
-a. Yeah. So cool. Yeah. So ls space -a, it shows all the hidden directories and files. And notice how I've got this .git directory in here. And that's where kind of everything is saved, like the different versions.
Thank you.
So cool. So say I created a console log, hello Oscar Platoon, but now I'm going to create a separate branch, so a new feature branch, and I'm going to work off of that because because I'm developing some new code because I don't always want to be pushing to the master branch because you never really want to push directly to the master branch because you might mess up code and in production you definitely don't want to do that. You get fired really quickly. So I'm going to Git Checkout -bre. So I'm going to call it feature. I'm going to say response. Yeah. Response to I'm just going to call it response. And since it's my initials, tap response feature. There we go. So I'm on this new branch called tap. It's my initials to signify to other developers that, hey, Tom is the one who's working on this branch. And it's the response feature. So now I'm going to create a response to this, and I'm just going to say console log. What's up? And now I'm going to save that as well. So if I come up here, that console log, hello Oscar Platoon is on the master branch. And now I'm on this separate branch, and I'm going to add what's up to this separate branch. So I can do git add period, git status. So I modified the test git file, and I'm going to add it to this response feature branch. Git commit. I'm going to create a save point. Response feature complete. I don't know. So cool. I created a save point. I'm going to do git log. And now you can kind of see the different save points that I created. So I've got this initial commit, which was where I just committed directly to the master branch. And now I've got this other one that I just created. And the head, like the most recent code, is on this tap response feature branch. And I can technically check out different. So if I wanted to go back to this code, so notice how it says commit followed by all these numbers and characters. I can go back to some old code on here. So if I do git checkout, because I'm going to check out something, and I copy and paste this commit. Your detached state, you can look around, make experimental changes, and then commit them. You can discard any commits. blah, blah, blah. Cool. So I'm no longer attached to the head branch or like the most up-to-date code. I'm now detached from the head. So here's the head, but now I'm no longer attached to the head. And notice how when I check that out, that response console log, what's up, is no longer there because I'm back to where this initial commit was. But I want to do Git Checkout, tap response feature. Now I'm back to where the response feature is. So notice how that console log, what's up, is back. So now I'm done with this feature branch. Now I want to merge this back into the master branch. So if I do Git Checkout master, watch this go away. So if Git Checkout master. So now that feature, so the code that was on this feature branch does not exist on the master yet. So now what I want to do is merge the code that's in the feature branch into the master branch. So I can do Git Merge and then just the name of the branch, response feature. And now watch this update right here. So it says fast forward, test Git. I added 2 lines right there, 1 file change, 2 insertions. So I added these 2 lines right here.
What would have happened if there was a merge conflict?
So if there was a merge conflict, it wouldn't be able to merge, but in VS Code, you'll see what happens, but they'll highlight these like whatever's being a merge conflicts, and it'll give you some options above wherever the conflict is. It's going to say like merge incoming branch, keep same branch, and a couple more options. But you can always just go in there and accept the changes, discard the changes, or just rewrite whatever wherever that merge conflict is. So, but yeah, we're going to have a challenge, I think later on this week that covers merge conflicts, and you'll be able to see everything.
So question on this. So within Git, you're within your own local system, and you want to create a branch, but that wouldn't, like say functionally working with GitHub, if you change the master on your local system, that shouldn't affect anything on GitHub until you actually push it there. So is there someone else that's taking, like functionally, would there be someone else that's taking all these branches and then putting them into the main master? I'm just not sure.
So where, like, at what point would you actually be merging things in the master branch, and who's responsible for that?
Yeah.
So typically speaking, that's what pull requests are for. That's like requesting to pull branches into master, and that's all done on GitHub. So that's when someone would actually pull the production code base or pull branches into the production code base would be on GitHub. So like right here, if I wanted to override this code right here, the starter code that doesn't have anything, I can pull in other people's code. Like I can merge this pull request.
Okay.
And that will actually override this code right here.
Got it.
Yep.
So typically, aren't there permissions on GitHub so that some of the people that might be careless cannot make a mess of production stuff?
Yep, 100%. And we'll be setting those up when you're in your final group projects. So if you go to settings to any GitHub repo and you do branches, you can add branch protection rules. So I can add a rule that says, hey, no one's allowed to push to the master branch or make changes on the master branch or the main branch. I can even require people to approve pull requests. So I can require 2 individuals to approve my code before it gets successfully merged into master. These are all like rules and protections so you don't overwrite production code and break something. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff. And you can even restrict who can make pull requests or approve pull requests and all that. But yeah, there's a bunch of functionality that can prevent you from really messing up your production code base. All right. But yeah, so just get used to making git add, git commits, and git checkouts. Oh, I can also do, so if I wanted to see what branches, so I can do git branch, and you can see what branches are currently on my local machine in this Git repository. And it's okay, there's the master branch, and that's the current branch I'm currently on. And then there's the tap response feature as well. So if I do git checkout to check out, and I wanted to go to the tap response feature, so I switched from the master to the tap response feature and did git branch. Now I'm on, it highlights what branch I'm on. Any other questions?
So does git log show what's on the repository and git branch shows what's local?
So git branch just shows what branches are on the local, and git log shows all the commits that were made on the local machine. So they're just the different commits. So if I made like another commit, so if I changed like this console log into a function, const hello, and I moved that up there. And again, now I'm on the feature branch still. I did git add, git status. I'm going to clear that. Git commit. I'm making another save point. Added hello function. All right. So I added the hello function and I do git log. Now I've got that other commit message here. But if I do git branch, I still only have those 2 branches. And if there are branches, so say I'm on GitHub, or like this code is somehow on GitHub and somebody else created a branch and pushed that branch up to GitHub, but that branch isn't reflective down here, I believe you can do run git, the git fetch, and that will fetch all, I think it's git fetch or git fetch something, and it'll fetch all the other branches that are on GitHub that aren't on your local machine. But you'll rarely ever use that in this course. But just know that it exists.